I wasn't born tarnished. I was made. By failure, by flame, by 1,000 deaths and one broken promise. They stripped away my name, my flesh, and left behind only the hunger to try again. My name no longer matters, only this does. I walked the lands between, and she took me beyond them. They called me Tarnished, not warrior, not hero, just ash wearing bones and borrowed hope. They said grace had returned to guide us, but when I looked up at the golden light, all I saw was judgment. I didn't come to save this world. I came because there was nothing left. No honor, no peace, just a brittle sword and a corpse that could still walk. The world welcomed me with a blade to the gut, and it never really stopped. Limgrave was where I began, a land soaked in blood, rot, and half-remembered glories. Knights turned to beasts, lords turned to tyrants, and gods turned to dust. They told me to seek grace, but grace here doesn't guide you. It tempts you. It tests you. I killed Goldrick, not because I was worthy, but because no one else could stand. He grafted arms onto himself like stolen prayers. He wanted to be whole, and all I saw was a man ripping the world apart to feel like a god. I took his rune, took his power, and kept walking, because I knew I wasn't a king. I was a storm passing through. They say your build defines your journey, but for me, my blade was more than numbers. It was belief. It was the only voice I had. A katana that whispered in moonlight. A colossal sword carved from memory. Dexterity, strength, faith, arcane. They were never stats. They were choices. Symbols of how I chose to endure. I wasn't the strongest, but I was stubborn. I died and died and died. And each time, I came back. Because dying in this world, dying in the lands between, isn't a failure. It's faith. The belief that you can try again. The demigods were divine in title only. Radan, once a star slayer, now a beast rotting on a dying horse, firing arrows like prayers from a forgotten war. Rykard devoured a serpent, so he wouldn't have to face death. He didn't cheat it. He became it. Morgoth, son of the Erd Tree, still begged for the love of a god that would never love him back. And Millennia, she didn't bloom because she wanted to win. She bloomed because pain was the only language she understood. I killed them all. Not for runes, not for power, but because someone had to end this cycle. Ranni the witch. She saw through the lies. Where others clawed for grace, she turned her back on him. She didn't want to rule. She wanted freedom. She wasn't a queen. She was rebellion wrapped in frost and starlight. And she didn't ask for a servant. She asked for a consort, a partner, an equal, someone who had walked through death and chose something else. And when she reached for me, I didn't hesitate. I took her hand. Others fought for the title, fought for the throne, but I had seen what thrones do. They rot the soul. They twist hope into obedience, and they turn heroes into tyrants. The Erd Tree wasn't salvation. It was a cage, lit by fire, watered with blood. I didn't want to be a part of that. I didn't want to become another name carved in gold and buried in shame. When the final bell rang, when the world held its breath, I didn't take the crown. I took her hand, and she led me beyond the stars. No throne, no grace, no legacy, just freedom. And something new, something never touched by gods or golden lies. If you awaken in the lands between just to win, you already lost. The world doesn't care how strong you are. It only cares if you keep walking. It's not about numbers, not about builds, not about the title at the end. It's about the journey, the wonder, the quiet between the bosses. It's about learning to let go. Let go of your fear. Let go of your pride. Let go of your name. Because only then can you become something more. I walked the lands between. I died 1,000 deaths. And in the end, I didn't rule. I chose to walk away into starlight, into silence, into peace. Because some stories don't end with crowns. Some end with freedom. And some begin again.